The National Economic Council has resolved to set up a presidential committee on flood relief response for an immediate intervention of flood prevention and mitigation in the country. Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano, while briefing State House correspondents alongside governors of Bauchi and Oyo states and the special advisor to the President on economic matters, said the Minister of Environment Ibrahim Usman briefed the Council on the need to step up federal government monitoring units to effectively achieve its short and long-term goals of flood prevention. Our State House correspondent Ayuba Mikbashe tells us more.
A recommendation between the federal and state government was presented by the Minister of Environment, and the Council, according to Governor of Anambra State Willie Obiano, approved a cost-sharing formula for all tiers of government and the Presidential Committee.
The Council also agreed that there will be need to set up a federal project monitoring unit to comprise officers from the collaborating entities, federal, states, and the Presidential Committee on Flood Relief Response, to be headed by a director. This is to identify locations of critical actions and realistic cost estimates and implement the flood prevention, mitigation, and preparedness program.
Bauchi State Governor Mohammed Abubakar also gave an update on the presentation made by Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, to NEC on the efforts to decongest crowded Nigerian prison, which he described as a threat to the justice system in the country. According to reports, over 1,330 inmates across the country have been condemned, and the recommendations by the Chief Justice was for a review of prison policy by state government to achieve decongestion.
The federal government, because of its concern for the need to decongest the prison, directed the Federal Ministry of Justice to fast-track the decongestion of prison. As a result of that, a stakeholders committee was set up under the Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Justice Ishaq Bello. The committee has since commenced action. They have visited quite a number of states and quite a number of prisons. And as a result of that, they were able to set free about 1,310 inmates.
Oyo State Deputy Governor Alake Adeyemo briefed on the latest update on Federation's account as presented by the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun.
SS code account, $1 billion, 918 million, 509,918.86. Stabilization fund account, 18 billion, 892 million, 864,216 naira 65 kobo. And lastly, Natural Resources Development Fund, $133 billion, 715 million, 427,387.37 naira.
The Council, however, said the lingering deadlock from the last FAC meeting on under-remittance by NNPC into the Federation's account was not discussed. From the Presidential Villa, Abuja, Ayuba Mikbashe, reporting for Core TV News.